I'm going to keep this video short and sweet, straight to the point. I'm not going to gatekeep anything, and I'm going to tell you exactly what my business model is to generate me close to $25,000 this month. And I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know. There's going to be no course being sold at the end. There's going to be nothing crazy, nothing. This is just a straight value video, because I wish someone had made this video for me when I was getting into this. So before we get into everything, in life, you need to understand that people only want two things, and that's money or fame. Fame or status, doesn't matter what you call it, but it's either those two things. But in my experience, people usually just want the dollar. And the reason that is, and I've only figured out recently what the actual reasoning is behind that, is because once you get to a certain level of wealth, you can actually then fabricate your fame or status. Like, you can become famous so easily. Let's say you've got $1 million just to throw into this. You could spend like 50k of it on podcasts, another 300k on getting all the cars, then you could spend another 100k of it on this YouTuber, that influencer, start product placing yourself everywhere, and that's it. Next thing you know, you're famous. Everyone knows who you are. Like, that is the way so many of these famous people have been able to do it. And we'll get into like tons of stories that I've heard about how people have done this, but that would be an entire video on its own. And if you want to hear about stuff like that, just go to my Instagram. My Instagram has tons of stuff like that. But anyway, so what is the best way then to generate money? And that is by learning a high leverage skill. So here's a few high leverage skills: as paid copywriting, high ticket sales, AI automation engineering, video editing, offer creation, funnels, back-end infrastructures, and then what I do, which is strategic content operating. However, before I get into the rest of the video, I do want to preface this with saying, only focus on one thing at a time. I do loads and loads of consulting calls, and literally on every single call I get on with, or with all my mentees, all my clients, they always have shiny object syndrome, or they try and focus on too many things at once. Like, there was one guy I was on a call with yesterday where he was doing strategic content operating, like a variant of it. It was really bad. Then he was doing that mixed in with high ticket sales, mixed in with paid ads, and I was just like, how does any of this even work? You only have a limited amount of focus / energy point in a day, and you're focusing it on everything. And it's Hick's law is like, the more options someone has, the more time it'll take for them to choose. So strategic content operating is what and it is because it is the final boss of all high leverage skills. Like, they all eventually lead to this point. Like, whenever you get into paid ads, you get into any of these, then it becomes, oh, how do I get more clients? How do I get more leads? Oh, I have to make content. Oh, I have to teach. I have to do this. So strategic content operating is the final boss. So it is one of the skills that I always recommend new people to begin in, because I'm just like, well, why don't you just cut the chase, go right to the top and be like, okay, I'm going to do this and help out all these other people doing all the other skills. So what is strategic content operating? Strategic content operating is building the behind the scenes engine that turns creators into scalable businesses. It blends systems thinking, content strategy, automations, artificial intelligence to help creators consistently produce, repurpose, and then monetize high performing content. And just to give you a little bit of an insight on what that means, like in terms of like the deliverables, if you want to call it, or the nitty gritties, and it's like, you're building repeatable content systems from ideation to posting. You're then structuring the team, workflows, and automations to help scale that without creating chaos. You're aligning every piece of content that comes out of that Instagram or YouTube or social media platform to the creator's brand's goals and monetization part. And then you're using all of the data and the performance that you've received from all of this to refine on what works and double down. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to build a connection with your audience. You're trying to make them dependent. I don't know why I used a dependent sticker, but you're trying to make them dependent on your content. Like, oh shit, I need this guy to post, otherwise I won't be able to do this, or I won't be able to do that. Or I need to know this because it's going to help me with that. You are trying to build that connection. You're trying to build that dependency, and that can only be done through high intent videos. So just to give you a couple examples, high intent videos like these. So you have Max In-House here, myself here, and Nick Setting here. These two are using very, very similar styles, but what essentially they're doing is they're targeting their videos with high intent, meaning these videos that they're creating are only speaking to one type of person, they're only delivering one type of message, and is extremely valuable. And then here's my video in the middle where I'm talking about how I'm the brokest in my friend group and how I did it. So I'm trying to provide value to those who are trying to get into bigger friend groups, trying to get into bigger circles. This is the value I'm providing. So the reason these videos are so powerful when you structure them this way with high intent is that you end up with comments like this. So I've never met Harry in real life, but Harry is always supporting my things. He goes, nothing but truth. You're going to be in those circles a lot quicker than you think, because I was talking about billionaire circles. And he was like, proud of you, dog, legend. So it's like, these are the types of comments you want. I made an entire video on why viral videos are. So if you want to go check out a bit in detail on why these videos are much better than videos that get like millions and millions of views, go and check that video out. But in general, this is the method. This is the method. And this is the exact same method that Iman uses himself, which is why he has the account called Chat with Iman. So even though he has 20k followers, so many of you can be like, oh bro, 20k, that's nothing. He's got like millions on his other YouTube. He's got millions on his main Instagram. He's got millions on the Clip account. But that's not the point. This account makes him way more money than any of the other accounts, even with just 20,000 followers. And it's because he's extremely specific and he's sharing business advice for established entrepreneurs, consultants, business owners looking to scale. So now he's targeting a niche which has money, and he's giving them tailored advice. So I'm going to go into all the methods and how you can actually do this yourself in a minute, as you can see down here, how to create high intent videos. But what I'm just trying to show you is the smaller scale, this works. This is the business model. This is how much money you could possibly make with it. And I obviously talk about how I got into this, my journey in this video here. Now let's move into how to actually create the high intent video. So what are high intent videos? Well, they are designed to attract serious viewers. Not brain rotters, not people who think 6'7", if you guys know what that is. We don't want those type of people. And it creates an emotional or practical alignment. This person gets me. Like, so many people watch Iman's videos and go, yo, this guy knows exactly why. This guy feels me. This guy's been through the same issues as me, problems as me. And it prompts a meaningful action. So you can either get DMs from people, people who are booking calls with you, they're buying from you, they're following you, they're watching more of your content. You are prompting meaningful act. And you are blending story, solution, and identity. If you look at all of Iman's videos, he will always give you his story of how, you know, he grew up with his mum and how his mum gets everything, how he did it, the solution to those problems that he presents you, and then his identity. So he's blending his story, then the problem and the solution on how he achieved how he got out of that story, and then now his identity now, and like his touch, his flavor. So first part of the video, all you guys know is the hook. But a lot of people get this wrong, where they don't understand what their hook should look like, what it should be, what specifically does the hook need to pinpoint. Like, there's no checklist there. No one's giving you a checklist. No one's told you any of this. But basically, we don't want a flashy hook. So we don't want any cars, any Rolexes on screen. We don't want anything like that. And this is probably something that you guys disagree with, but trust me, we do not want anything flashing in the hook, because that's when you start attracting the wrong audience. But we want a hook that speaks to pain, dream, or desire. You have multiple segments of the video. So you have the hook, then you have the personal credibility layer, the emotional resonance, tactical clarity, and micro CTA. Now, in the beginning of the video, you give the hook. So let's say I was going to do, if you're a niche, you need to hear this. So I'll be like, if you're a aspiring content creator, you need to hear this. Already now I've dialed in. So now I'm speaking to a desire. I'm speaking to something that people want to become. And now personal credibility, because why would people listen to me? Like, why are you guys even in this YouTube video? It's because I have lived it. I've made the money from it. I'm probably one of the best at it in the space. There isn't anyone making videos like these. So you need to show that you've lived it, and you're not just teaching it. You're not a guru. You're not just some random ass bozo. So you mentioned the personal results, the transformation, the client wins. So if you guys want to know about client wins, I've taken Sam Zia from 200k followers to now 610,000 followers. And I've done this with many, many clients. So those are some of my personal credibility layer. So I would do something like, if you're a aspiring content creator, you need to hear. You need to have a personal credibility layer in your videos, because people are not going to listen to a random bozo that comes across as a guru. So as soon as you mention your hook, you need to go straight into why people should listen to you. What have you achieved in this sort of realm by doing this solution that you're presenting the audience with, and how is it going to help? So that one is like a little video. So that was the hook and the personal credibility layer. Now the emotional resonance. You need to make the viewer feel seen and heard. I mean, like, you're tired of most people in your position use language that they would use in their own head. So if we were to carry on that video that I just mentioned up here, it would be like, okay, so after I mentioned why people should listen to me, it'd be like, well, you must be tired of not having any leads, or you must be tired of just creating content without any purpose, or making content, spending all those hours on content, and then getting no views, or getting tens and thousands of views but no DMs, or no one who's going to your offer. And that will be emotional resonance. Now you need to have tactical clarity. So now that you've, established the hook, you've got people hooked in, you've told people why they should listen, you've now emotionally resonated with them. Now you need to give them something in return. Like, they're hooked in, they want something now. So that can be in the form of step-by-steps, frameworks, hard truths. You need to deliver something that they can apply today. So if we were to carry on that video, like, okay, so I've just released a YouTube video which goes through step-by-step on how you can create a high intent video that will get you everything that you've ever wanted. That may be more money, more fame, more follows, more likes, more DMs, more book to calls, whatever, more watch time, like whatever it is. If it was a short form video, I would have adjusted it to like, okay, here's 3 things you need to do straight away today to increase the resonance in your short form video. And then at the end of all that, you need to have a micro call to act. I don't want you to say like and follow. Like, back in the day on YouTube, they used to leave a like and subscribe, and I used to hate, like, purposefully when I was a kid, I used to not like and follow when you say that, or like and subscribe. But anyway, you need to do stuff like DM me X if this sounds like you, or for X. So it's like DM me X for X. That could be like a free lead magnet, or DM me for this framework. It's like you're increasing those conversations that you have with people, so people understand that you're not just like a random person. You're actually someone there to help. Join the waitlist if this spoke to you, and if you're in the target position, this was made. So you're basically wrapping all of this video up into these points, and trust me, your videos are going to have so much more resonance to the point where you will get outcomes like this. If you analyze any single one of these videos, they have all of those now. Where am I at? So here are some high intent formats that you can do today. So look, I'm giving you I'm delivering on something that you can apply today. So here's some high intent formats. Do a story with proof, a journey from X to Y, a framework breakdown, turn a complex idea into a 3-part model. So technically this video is a framework breakdown. I'm breaking down such a complex idea into smaller parts, digestible parts. Hard truth monologues, controversials but accurate insights. So like, you don't need 10k to live a good life, or 10k isn't as much money as you think it is, because it isn't. 10k is actually so small. Behind the scenes, you're like pulling the curtain about your real strategy. So like, this is my real strategy, especially when I go into the checklist. Customer, client and wins, you know, I've spoken about it in many videos. Niche rants and walkthroughs, they're pretty self-explanatory. When would you use high intent content? So there's a time and a place for virality, showy, flashy, showing off, ego type videos, and there's also a time and a place to use high intent videos. So what are some strategic use cases? Well, when you're launching a new offer, you're trying to build credibility as an operator, you're qualifying leads before deal, you're trying to educate your ideal client, you're establishing long-term positioning. If you look into all of Iman's content, he is always doing these, and that is why he's gotten to the success that he has. So here's a checklist that you guys can use every single time you make a video from now on. Think about, have you targeted a specific pain or identity? Have you injected your own personal credibility? Have you shared some clear and structured insight? Like, can people just automatically go, that makes so much more sense? Is there an emotion or tension present? Like, have you built up something? Have you given more emotion to the video? And is there a CTA designed to qualify, not just collect? Because loads of people just collect emails, lead, whatever, usernames, but then they don't qualify them. There's no point having 1,000 DMs if only 2 of those people are actually people you want DMs from. So use this checklist next time you make a video, and trust me, you're going to be in much better position. So this is literally just a quick little breakdown on how to become a strategic content operator, a little bit of the behind the scenes, why it's the final boss, how to make those high intent videos. But if you need more help with this, you want to actually become a full-fledged content operator, you have your own clients, you're genning, 25k a month, then I'd be more than happy to help you out. Yeah, just send me a DM on only FYZ and only Faizaan, and I will reach back out to you, and we can see if we can work together and I can get you to where you need to be.